Hello and welcome to my stream. I'm going to continue working on what I was doing last time, which is the Imager Clone Firebase version. So I'm using Firebase to upload images to the cloud and making them available to anyone who goes on my website, much like you would see on Imager. Okay, so very cool. So this was the Imager clone that we created. Something to note. Before we put the file in the state, and that causes a re-render at every single time the user selects the file, which is not ideal because nothing new is being shown to the user. It's not a huge deal, but it's a good use case for thinking about using refs instead of state. The difference between refs and state is that when you update a ref, it will not re-render the component. So if you need some kind of information that is persistent within your component, you can use refs. Unless you want the changes to that data to re-render the component, in which case use state. So if you use ref here, you can update the ref by modifying the current property on the ref, and that ref is persistent. So every time there's a re-render, it's going to always keep the same value that you set last time. And this way, when the user clicks, you can get the value back, like so. Okay, so I was thinking, let's do something fun. I like fun. So we're going to create a slideshow application. I think this is really exciting. Fun, yes. Xenia, I agree. This is gonna be amazing. So we're going to create we're going to turn this into a sort of slideshow application. And we're going to add some text to speech. When the user adds an image, we also want him to add text that's associated with that image. When the image appears, we want that text to be spoken by the platform. So create an input box, and that input box will give the user the ability to add text, to annotate the image with text. st.text is equal to, this is actually a good use case for ref instead of state. I'm going to use state because I'm feeling lazy. But updating persistent, actually in this case, no, in this case, we need to be in the state because we want it to re-render. This is absolutely a state, not a ref case. And when we submit, we want to also submit the text associated with that image. Are you excited? Xenia writes, you had my interest, now you have my attention. So this will let us upload the information to Firebase. And that information will have the speech, which I unfortunately lost. Let me just get it back. Here we go. This is the code that we're going to use. The key to text to speech is these two lines right here. Good. When we display the images, we also want to display it with the text just to show the user that particular image is associated with particular text. So st.image paths right here, this is going to be image data. And we're going to put in the whole Firebase object. Xenia writes, is this the third-party library? Speech synthesis, etc. No, this comes with a browser. So every browser comes with speech synthesis. I think it's an accessibility feature. Okay. I know, right? Not many people know this. Xenia writes, whoa. And I'm displaying the images. Yeah. Let's put the text right underneath the image. Put in a P, why not? So before, the only thing that was in our Firebase object was the UID of the image that was in Firebase storage. But now, we've added text. Let's see what this website looks like. Can I read property push of undefined? So we got these beautiful images. This awful UI at the very bottom. I don't know if you guys can see my awful UI. Let me actually fix this awful UI. Well, fix is a big word. Improve it slightly. A little better. Let's see what we have. Okay, so we can submit text. We choose the file. Hey. Any day now. And you have the image, and underneath you have the text. All right, now here's where the fun part will start. So before the fun part starts, let's see what this thing returns.
Hello world.
Can you guys hear that? Hello world. I have desktop audio. You guys can hear that. Okay. Good. Let's see what it returns. Returns undefined. Oh well. C'est la vie. I was hoping it would return a promise.
Hello world.
So we're going to add a button here which is start slideshow. And the slideshow is going to read the text and show the images.
Hello world.
Xenia writes, your map function needs a unique key prop. It's not the end of the world if you don't supply a unique key prop. Yes, React complains about it. For small projects, it's perfectly fine. Even medium-sized projects, in my opinion. I know I'm going to get roasted, but... So we start the slideshow. React does think it is, or the React devs think that it's a big deal. So when you start the slideshow, we're going to do st.slideshow mode equals true. st.slide number.
Hello world.
And if state if we're in slideshow mode, then we're going to start displaying the slideshow. And the slideshow is going to consist of the picture as well as the text underneath. The picture is dictated by the slide number. Source or UID? So let's see if we have the start of a slideshow mode. Slide number is not defined. By the way, this is my last stream for a while now, so I'm going to take a break. I will not be streaming after today. I may start again sometime in the future, but there are no plans. So thank you for if you participate in one of these streams, thank you very much. And I hope that someday I'll be able to engage with you in the future. Even though it is April 1st, Allah writes, you should stream on Instagram. Winky face. I'm actually experimenting with new forms of media. My whole raison d'être, or my whole motivation, is to really explore new forms of media and new ways to engage my student. And live streaming is something that's quite pervasive. And I'd like to explore more innovative and creative ways to educate and engage. So that's why I am stopping the stream. But good point, Allah. Maybe I should start streaming on Instagram. Or maybe I should work on my new innovative content. So when I click on Start Slideshow, I should see
Hello world.
and I see my first image. Unfortunately, the images are not cached. When I click Start Slideshow, it actually has to reload the image from scratch. Which is not ideal. I can create a cache here.
Hello world.
Cache UID is equal to URL.
Hello world.
Perfect.
Hello world.
So this will cache the, sum it to a constant variable. This will cache the URLs. So my images are not showing up. There we go. So when I start the slideshow, it's going to automatically show the image. There won't be any lag. Actually wrap this in a function. All right, so please note that you absolutely cannot do this. It won't even let you. You really need to do something like this. All right, so we have the start of a slideshow. Xenia writes, could you explain why? I can. So if I was to write something like this, this is equivalent to this. That's how await works. This is what await does.
Hello world.
And what would happen is this function right here would return almost immediately. This function will return immediately, even before the assignment is done. And so as far as produce is concerned, when it calls that function, the URL property of st will not have been modified. So await basically leaves the function, more or less. It makes it return. Await actually makes a function return. Not many people know this. But as soon as the JavaScript interpreter encounters the first await, it returns from the function. It returns a promise. So this function will return a promise almost immediately. And the function returns before the assignment is done. That's how async await works. I have a tool that explains this more in depth. I'm going to post it in the chat. Getting a good grasp of async await and promises takes a lot of practice, and you need to create a good mental model of how it works. So it's not straightforward and obvious. And using a tool like the fetch tool in Wakata, you have a tutorial. And in the tutorial, it explains you. Oh, I need to fix the styling. There you go. In the tool, it explains you how promises, fetch, async await work. Strongly recommend. Most people don't know exactly how it works, so this will give you a little more of an insight. And after you finish the tutorial, you can actually practice using this tool. I hope that answers your question, Xenia. Hello, right? That's my favorite tool. I like it too. I like it too. Where were we? Oh, yes. So we have to wait before
Hello world.
Good. We should be wrapping our slideshow in a new component. All we need is a number. The state will have a slide number which starts at 0. And that's all there is, actually. That's all there is in the slideshow. Furthermore, we want to change the slide at a regular interval. So the way you do that, well, one of the ways you do that is you can use an effect. And I'll put the code that I want to run in 1 second here. And then you actually want to return, yes, yeah. So
Hello world.
use effect takes a function as an argument. This is the argument to use effect. Right, so this is the argument right here to use effect. And this returns a function, and this function will be run either when the component unmounts or before the next render. So we're putting a clear timeout in case the component unmounts. So if it unmounts, we don't want the set timeout to continue running. And we're just going to put this code right here. This be state data dot data make it nice. Just comment this one. And after 1 second, we want to increase the slide number. Just do it like that. We actually want to show the slideshow. See if it does anything. Oh, cannot read property UID of undefined. So let me refresh that. Oh yes, we need to put a stop at the. We don't want to call set state too many times. So we don't want to go over. So every time the slide number changes, we're putting a set timeout so that it's going to change it again in 1 second. So we start the slideshow. First image, Second image not showing up. Let's try that again. You can go in the Components tab to see what's going on. I can start the slideshow. Starts at 1, goes to 2, goes to 3, goes to 4, goes to 5. So we know the state is getting updated. For some reason, the image is not. Put to 3 seconds. Let's put to 5 seconds. Components tab is React developer's best tool. So the UID changed, but the image did not. Four, 8, 1, 2, 7, 7. Oh, now the text is getting updated, we see here. So let's clearly put some new images. Let me go on Firebase. This is called image clone for stream. We're just going to go and delete everything in the real-time database, of which there is nothing. Oh, there we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all these posts. I'm just going to delete everything. If we go back on the website, we see there's nothing there. So I'm going to choose 3 distinct files. One, first one. Talk about slow. Wow, okay, Firebase is really slow today. Second one, number 2. Oh my God. Firebase. This is ridiculous. And let's choose another one. Let's choose this one. I took this video from this one from Unsplash. The creator's name escapes me. But it would be a good idea to attribute this picture. I just wish I remember the creator. You click Start Slideshow. You get the first one with the text. You get the second text. You don't get the second image. I think it's because it's loading. And then you get the Nicole is the name of the creator. apparently, according to Xenia. All right then, so how do you cache images? You Google it. Firebase is just being too slow. Okay, I'm gonna do something really ghetto. This is awful. Should I do it? It's just so bad. Should I? I wish there was a way around this. Oh, I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is. Okay. Okay. I forgot to put a key on my image. Or rather, it should still work. Let's check my DOM. Okay, so this URL is not changing. That's the issue. This URL is staying the same. And that's because this URL is only gets updated. Every time the state URL changes, we also need to update the whenever the UID changes, we need to update the URL. First image, second image, third image. Okay, good. So we have, this is perfect. We're practically done here. And Nicole Wolf is the author of that amazing Unsplash image that I use everywhere. Key on list. Yes, I forgot the key property. I guess this is why React developers want me to use the key property. Actually, no, the key property, so I could have used the key property, or I could just, that was another way of fixing it, or just modify the use effect. I'm going to resist using that key property. Center myself a little better. All right. All we need to do is add the text to speech. We add it every time we the slide number changes. And then we can do slide.text. Oh, whoops, slide.text. Pairs are evil. And there you have it, folks. We have a slideshow with voice. This is really interesting for educators like myself. This is why I created it. Because we can show a picture and talk about the picture at the same time. So the student can focus his eyes on the picture and focus his hearing on the sound, which makes for better learning. Xenia writes, amazing. I know, right? So all I needed was these 2 lines right here. So let's see how we can augment this slideshow. One thing we can do is change the speed at which the slides change. So we can let the person who's submitting decide how long a slide will last on the screen. And we can ask the person to input the number of seconds that each slide will last. In the same way that we have a text handler, we're going to have a duration handler. And when we click submit, we're going to add the duration. And when we, in the slideshow itself, right here, instead of being 5,000, it's going to be slide.duration. And if that is equal to 0 or it's undefined, we will give it a value of 5,000. 5 seconds. And then it's in seconds, so we need to convert it to milliseconds. Finally, when we submit, which is here, we need to clear like so. We're not going to put state.duration directly, we're going to parse it. Or number. Number is a better idea. I like number. Number from string. There you go. So we get either undefined or a number. We don't get nan. Nan is annoying to deal with. So using this little function, it's very similar to number, except it returns undefined if it's not a valid number. So So I'm going to go ahead and go into Firebase. And I'm going to go to my imager clone for stream. I'm going to delete everything. And I'm going to add I could find, there we go. So I'm going to first reload, choose a file called me2. So text the some picture. I'll make it last 2 seconds. And if we look at the database, we see that duration is indeed 2 seconds. The next one, it's going to say some other picture, number 2. This one's going to last 5 seconds. Come on, Firebase, I believe in you. There we go. And finally, this amazing picture by Nicole Wolf. The duration of this one does not matter because it's the last slide. So the duration of the last slide is inconsequential. I'm just going to put 3 seconds. So the main point here is that the first slide is going to be much shorter than the second slide.
Some picture. Number 2.
This one is 5 seconds.
Taken by Nicole Wolf.
And there you have it. So you have duration. So as an educator, I'd like sometimes to make my slides shorter or longer, depending upon how much information there is in the image of the slide and how much time it will take for the audience to absorb it. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed working with text-to-speech and Firebase and images and putting everything together. And for those of you who want to learn web development, I have a platform called Wakata. And this platform teaches you JavaScript and React and CSS and SQL and all these great topics using interactive games. For example, the CompuThink tool right here demonstrates how a computer's memory is modified by code. So most code actually just modifies computer memory. Understanding how computer memory is modified is an important part of becoming a developer. I also have an HTML tool that gives you real-time feedback when you are trying to learn HTML and CSS. So if you look right here in this particular example, I tell you that there are differences between what you are trying to do and what is actually asked of you. So it's a good way to get feedback when you're learning, which is important. And WalkAssemble, which is solving algorithm challenges by assembling pieces together. So I tell you what you can use, and it's up to you to put those pieces together to solve the question at hand. So it's kind of puzzle-based learning. Xenia writes, Wakata is amazing. Can't wait for it to take over the world. Me neither. I can't wait. It's getting dark in here. That's all right. Mobile friendly, so you can use it on the bus, public transit, as long as you have an internet connection. I also have a workshops tool which shows you text little by little. Xenia writes, what is public transit? Public transit are buses or subways. Oh, I guess that was a joke. Not sure. But you should probably avoid public transit right now because we are in the midst of the corona pandemic. Waka Workshops is a bunch of workshops that teach you different skills, such as how to create a web server. Xenia writes, Corona joke, too soon? Not too soon. I was too slow on the uptake. I think it is apropos at the moment, Xenia. And a SQL tool which teaches you to read SQL, which is an important part of learning SQL. And what you do is you read these. You have a table and you have a SQL query, and it's up to you to create the table that represents the SQL query. This resulting table right here. On the React SimDom tool, you have some React code on the left-hand side, and it's up to you to generate the virtual DOM that is created by this React code. So understanding the virtual DOM is a very important part of becoming a React developer. Unfortunately, there isn't much awareness about the virtual DOM, and that means a lot of React developers don't have the tools to be effective and understand what they're writing and why they're writing it, and how the code they write affects what the user sees. So a deeper understanding of the virtual DOM is an important part of becoming a React developer, and this tool gives you this kind of deeper understanding that's necessary. I also have a puzzle solving tool to learn React. You have a certain interactive web page that you have to create on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, you have to fill in the gaps to solve the problem. In this particular exercise, you have 2 gaps and you're only allowed to use 2 variables. There's also a syntax tool. Many beginners struggle with syntax, particularly solving syntax errors, finding where they are. This tool teaches you how to find syntax errors and fix them by solving exercises and by teaching you a method that works for all possible syntax errors, a straightforward method for learning how to fix and find syntax errors. And Walgorithm are coding challenges similar to platforms such as LeetCode and Code Wars and HackerRank. I mean, there are many websites that give you coding challenges. A Walgorithm is different in that you have a set curriculum you have to follow from beginning to end. So it is very much beginner friendly. Furthermore, you have to actually write the test cases before you solve the problem to prove that you understand what you did. And when you submit the solution, I give you my personal author solution. Furthermore, a speed reading practice or drills. Beginners typically are very slow at reading, and they often read incorrectly, and this is a huge barrier to becoming an effective developer. So by using this tool and practicing every day, you can learn to read code, which is in some ways much harder than actually writing code, and is a precursor skill to being a good developer. So you can use this tool, the read tool, to challenge yourself and reach a higher level of mastery in reading code. So this is an overview of most of the tools in the platform. So, highly encouraged. I've used it in my classroom. I taught at Concordia boot camps, and it worked really well. It is currently, at the moment, it is currently free. So take advantage of this fact. All right, well, thank you for joining me on this stream. This is going to be the last stream for a while. And it was a pleasure having you as my audience and interacting with you. And I hope to engage with you in some way in the future. Goodbye.